On this next call, our caller gets kidnapped on the high seas.
And then his children go to jail.
It's not the movie Taken with Liam Neeson. This is hardly legal.
It's better.
Well, essentially, I was going down to my court case in the Commonwealth of Dominica, and I got to Miami, and American Airlines blocked my entrance onto my flight, but they did it in a way that was really sketchy. So after working with customer service for a couple months, trying to get the legal documentation, just asking them basically, what did you guys get from Dominica that would have made it so that I wasn't able to attend my case? And they wouldn't give it to me. I finally filed in the Justice of Peace Court, Precinct 2 in Tarrant County, right in AA's backyard to make it easy for him. And then all of a sudden, I got a full refund. I've got a documentation that they're telling me they had, but I know better because I've got some contacts in Dominica that have helped me to verify that. And then they said they've done nothing wrong. So we just went to pretrial last week, actually this week, Wednesday. And the judge asked if we wanted to go to mediation. And I said, sure, we'll go to mediation. And the senior lead attorney for American Airlines said, no, American Airlines is not going to mediate on this one. I said, that's fine. I have questions that I still need answered.
Okay. So help me understand this. Walk me back a little bit. How are we suing American Airlines? How did that happen?
So I just put breach of contract since they decided to deny me boarding onto a plane without any reason or rhyme other than Dominica government told them I couldn't get on the plane.
Why did
I wanted?
And when you say Dominica, I dated a Dominica, but I don't think this is the same Dominica. You mean the island in the Caribbean, right?
Yeah. So there's the Dominican Republic, and then there's the Commonwealth of Dominica. The Commonwealth of Dominica is a tiny little island between Martinique, another French island I can't think of, Guadeloupe.
Okay.
So not too many people know about it. It's tiny.
John, have you ever been to the Dominican Republic? Or
I believe
Nope.
I've done some.
No, not yet, but someday I'll go.
Yeah, I've done some corporate events there, but I don't remember.
Okay.
I just fly in.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna trust you that this is a real island. It sounds real. It came up when I Googled it. So yeah. I've never heard of.
Yeah, we lived there for 2.5 years.
Sure. Well, so what happened that caused the Dominica government to say, hey, don't let this guy fly?
Well, the background on that was they put me. So I'm actually still to this day. They still officially have my U.S. passport held in high court. And I still have a customs court case that the state decided just not to show up and not to present my lawyer with any evidence they had against me. And I started making a very big public deal about it.
I'm struggling to understand it. Let me re-ask, okay? So why did the Dominica government take your passports? Like, what did they say you did, or what are they upset about?
Oh, the Dominica government's saying that I illegally brought my possessions into the island, but I didn't.
Okay. Like T-shirts, drugs, like.
Oh no, we moved there legally. We legally moved there back in 2021.
So what were the illegal items they're saying?
No, none. They're just saying the whole thing. They took all of my possessions and just said, the fact that you brought your stuff in here, the way you did it, they're saying that was illegal. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. If you say it's illegal, then let's go to court. They pressed criminal charges against me, but then when it was time to actually go to court, the state lawyers decided not to show up.
Okay. So what were the criminal charges?
That I had imported my goods free of duty.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. It's just their way of extorting foreign nationals. I'm not the only one they've done this to. I was just the only one that decided to have the balls to fight them.
How much money do they want from you for bringing your own stuff to where you were going to live?
Oh, they were probably going to try to extort me for hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Wow.
Well, that's
sure
on the
that this
tail.
is-
Well, so this is weird. There's a lot to it,
Go
but that's on the tail of them illegally arresting my wife and my kids and extorting us and that. But that's a whole nother story.
So this ad is sponsored by any island other than Dominica. That's right. When you vacation anywhere but Dominica.
Yeah, don't. As of right now, because their government's like very, very corrupt and they're looking for foreign nationals to extort. As of right now, just don't go to the Commonwealth of Dominica. We're working to change that, though.
I have a question. Before you decided to move all your stuff, did you give Dominica like a quick Google search or check the just overall rating.
Look on their Facebook
You know what I mean?
page,
Yeah.
like,
If people are saying this country's a 1 star, if you want to get a new start, like did you check that, or is it just? Did
Yeah,
they
I
not
actually
like
had
your
a
record
friend
collection you were bringing in? Like, I
Florida
don't-
who had spent some time throughout the Caribbean, and he said that's really a great island. And overall, I would agree. The people are really great. The island is fantastic. Plenty of fresh water, able to grow anything. But right now, the government's entering into, and this is just more recently, right? Within the past 3 or 4 years post-COVID, they've entered into more of like the desperate stage of trying to maintain power and wealth and influence.
Man, maybe they need a little freedom. Maybe we need to go
Well,
over there and
I'm
liberate the
working
people.
on that, but I can't say anything about that on here.
Maybe we get a 51st state. How big is it? Is it big
Grenada.
enough? We could.
It's
slot it in.
29 miles north and south, 19 miles west and east, but it's super mountainous. It's
Okay.
beautiful, guys. It's the Emerald. It's known as the nature island of the Caribbean, and it really is. But you have 5 guys that hold the whole island pretty much in slavery to poverty so that they can go beg for hundreds of millions of dollars.
Wow.
And that's what they do.
Okay. All right. I just have a couple more background questions about this whole island
Sure.
heist, and then we can
It's
get
pretty
into
wild.
Yeah. So, I also want to say this. I feel like even the way they name the island, like Dominica, like they're just trying to get you when you Google search Dominican Islands. It's like, did you mean like, hey, come here, because it's just like 2 letters off. So
Yeah.
okay. So you said they were trying to extort you for hundreds of thousands of dollars. I feel like this is a fair part of the question. Are you doing pretty good? You doing pretty well? Like what line of work are you in that they chose you as a target?
It doesn't matter what line of work you're in, as long as you're a foreign national, they'll target you.
Okay.
Like
all right. But I mean, for
yeah.
example, if they seize
There's
all
this,
my
there's this
stuff, my stuff's
background
not worth
of
hundreds of thousands
an
of dollars.
Indian
So-
guy, Chosky, and he's a multimillionaire. He fled India because they were going to try to kill him.
Wow.
And he was living in Antigua, and Dominica and a British gang kidnapped that dude, brought him to Dominica. They extorted him for millions of dollars and then finally let him go before the Indian plane arrived to take him back to do away with him.
Wow. Okay.
This is not the first time Dominica's done something highly illegal.
So the corrupt government tells American Airlines, don't let this guy fly.
Correct. Even though we have a case against him,
Okay.
don't let him fly to his case.
Okay. And so now, are you calling us from Dominica? Are you okay? Are you still there?
No, I'm in northern Idaho right now visiting my oldest daughter.
How'd you get out?
That's a contrast.
Well, that's an interesting story because about a year ago, the government goon squad, because keep in mind, I'm still out on bail. I have to sign in 3 times a week, while those that are out on bail for murder only have to sign in once a month or once a week at most. And the goon squad showed up at 5:30 in the morning and kidnapped myself, my wife, and my 3 kids at that time. Our oldest one was already in the States. Put us on a plane, flew us to Puerto Rico, and then flew us to Miami and just dropped us off there. Like, all right, you're out. Without any paperwork, without due process, without anything. We got another lawsuit in that, but that's a foreign matter.
Whoa. You've been, yeah.
This is we need one more plot line, and probably Liam Neeson could play you, and we've got a whole series.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, this is a, you would not believe. I'm gonna write a book at some point, but it's an incredible story.
Yeah, I think just stay on the line. We got John. John is a professional comedian. He can write this story.
We'll start it now. We can make it like a rom-com if you want. you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're
it's,
looking
it's
for
totally
a new
doable.
Bond.
Yeah, you're looking for a new Bond. There's a lot of different ways we could go there. Like, yeah.
Natalie does a British accent. I've heard her do it before.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's all right.
Okay, right. So we're
I
in
can
the
do
Mary
it a bit.
Poppins sort of
Okay.
Oh,
Dick Van Dyke territory.
All right, we'll play with that after the caller's precious
All right,
time
all
is
right.
off. But so now you are here back in the great old U.S. of A.
Yeah.
No passport, but you're a citizen. They're working with you on it, right?
Yeah. Well, I just filed for a stolen passport by the Dominica government,
Okay.
and within a month I had a new passport. It was,
Okay,
it was pretty
great.
quick.
So now you are suing American Airlines because they did not honor your.
Correct. Breach of contract.
Okay. And where you said you were suing them, what county was it again?
Tarrant County in Texas, pretty much right between Dallas and Fort Worth.
And they rejected mediation.
Yeah, they flat out. The lady told the judge, no, American Airlines will not be doing mediation this time. And the judge is like, "Are you sure? Because this would be a great time of discovery. There's a lot here that needs to be answered." And then she goes, "Well, we are concerned with jurisdiction." And the judge just kind of shot back, well, this court has a lot of jurisdiction. So I was like, I have a lot of questions too. And at that point, we had everybody laughing in the court because I was a little snipe in my comments.
And this is in small claims court, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'm looking, like, my idea is that, okay, we go to small claims. It's a lot easier and a lot cheaper for me to get documents from American Airlines if I'm doing the work. And so, but if I find that they colluded with the Dominica government and they really didn't have this document at the time, I actually know they didn't. And I have ways of proving it, but I'm asking American Airlines to prove like chain of custody, authenticity of the document. So I've asked some basic questions. So I'm interested to see if they're going to do that. And if they can't answer those, I almost wonder if, okay, at that point, I know enough. So now do we go to big boy court and I sue them for a lot of money?
Great question there. So first, can you explain to the listeners at home what small claims court is?
Yeah, sure. So small claims court is, as we've already talked about, they are claims usually for $10,000 or less that are brought in what are called JP courts, Justice of the Peace courts. The judges are not necessarily professional lawyers or legally trained. They're usually elected members of the community.
What?
And it's a really expedited,
Broad and
as you
wide.
said.
Yeah. And I think
If
the limit
state
for
court's big boy court, this
Yeah,
is, the little brother.
and I think the limit for Tarrant County is 20,000, right?
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
Oh,
That's okay. First is 6'5". He only practices in big claims court. He's
I'm
he's
a
a
federal court guy. So.
I actually, I by the way, check out Platt Richmond. It's a great law firm. First, it's great. Okay, I'll handle the little way. Okay, so small claims court. You're in here for breach of contract. What are you alleging your damages are?
19,500.
Okay, yeah, right. Why not the
Chuck some
$999?
attorney's fees on the top as well,
I wanted to give them a little wiggle room.
Okay. And have they made any kind of settlement offer? Have you had any conversation around that?
No, they really won't talk. They've pretty much, their document in response was, hey, we fully refunded his flight, even the part that he took. However, we didn't do anything wrong, and it's still his responsibility because he didn't have the proper documentation, which is false, verifiably false. And here's the document that supposedly Dominica gave us.
Okay. Now, what is a win for you here? Sometimes when I talk to my clients, I sit down with them, they got a big story like this, a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
What does a win feel like for you? What would make you feel happy?
So I'm already on the win. I've got documentation that supposedly Dominica gave me. I've already got a full refund, so that's good. At this point, it's kind of for fun. So I'm going at it for fun. I'm going to have fun in court. We're going to laugh. At least the court's going to laugh.
I've got to say
might
you are
not
like
laugh.
the worst person to have on the other side of a case. On the
Yeah,
rare
because
occasions where
at
I've
this
had to
point,
do it.
I really have nothing to lose. I have just everything to gain.
Yeah, but what about all the in addition to not making the flight and not seeing, whatever movies they had going, what about all the kidnapping and all that kind of stuff? That stuff seems more annoying than not making your connection.
Yeah.
Yeah, correct. However, all these things are connected. These things aren't separate because when I wasn't able to go to my court and I missed that, then Dominica government took that as a no-show, and they have claimed all of our items, all of our personal possessions, our 40-foot shipping container, all of it. My kids' school, books, stuffies, et al.
Oh, now you throw stuffies in there. Now we
Yeah,
got
that's what I'm saying.
international.
What would
Shots
you
fired.
what would you
kids are
estimate the
pissed.
what would you estimate the value of that stuff that you don't have access to is?
Probably $500,000.
I like how you played coy with me earlier. I was trying to establish that you had means, and you were like, it doesn't matter, man. It doesn't matter.
No, wait. Did you purchase was there a place you were going to? Did you purchase a house there also?
We were working on purchasing land, and then we were going to build a house.
So what are the next? So we'll talk about the small claims. There's a lot going on here. What are you doing what are you doing to pursue the stuff that's still in Dominica?
Okay, so currently in April, we will have a high court hearing as we have sued the Dominica government for the illegal detention of my 3 minor children. They put my 16-year-old, my 14-year-old, my 12-year-old all in jail.
Wow.
This was a couple of years ago. So we're suing them for that. And then we will be suing them for the fact that they didn't no due process at all for the so-called deportation.
And you're suing them in
and
their
then we're
own
suing
court?
them for the kidnapping
You're
as
suing
well.
them in their own court system.
Yeah, right. I have to fight them in their own court system among high court.
Wow.
That doesn't seem like you
Yeah.
should maybe want to zoom that one. You know what I mean? I don't know. If
Oh, guys, it would blow your mind if you heard all the details.
So we got a little bit of time. I'll cancel the next call. But wait, so do they even have lawyers, or is it just pirates that are on parlay? Like when you show up to the high
lawyers in
court.
Dominica were pirates on parlay because the way they act like they're part of the system and not really there to help you. And for the most part, that's true. And there's several reasons for that. There are some lawyers, and in particular Caribbean lawyers, that understand they get paid by how long it takes, and they get paid more if it takes longer.
Yeah.
And the second fact is that the judicial system is very broken in Dominica. It's very much ran and manipulated by the government. Yeah.
All right. I want to also throw this out here. I'm married to a woman, but this is the sexiest voice we've ever had for a caller.
You guys got a nice
You
one.
got a great
Like
voice.
I could see him doing like a late night like quiet storm. Like up next we have Michael Bolton.
Well, I appreciate that.
Sade,
I'm not trying to be
76
anybody
degrees,
other than
85.
what normal, but
Have you ever done like an audio book? Because if you make this into a book, you need to read your own book, dude.
Yeah.
yeah, my daughter tells me I'm illiterate. So yeah, I can read, but I guess not that well.
Well, I'm just gonna, I have some books I need audio work. Since you're gonna be locked up in a foreign jail, I've already cloned your voice on 11 Labs, and I will be using your voice. For
10 cents on the dollar is all.
yeah,
we
yeah, and you're gonna be in another country, so you can't sue me because you won't even know what's happening.
Yep. And then I will represent you in suing John, and then First will represent John in defending
And it'll
my
be fun.
suit.
Yeah. It'll be like a pickleball league.
The conflicts of interest will all cancel each other out.
Yeah. Then we'll just
That's
go
how
get-
it works.
Yeah, then we'll just go get Arby's or something.
I'll
Yeah.
see you in high court.
That's right.
Okay, so let's go. This is gonna be a 6-parter. I think that we're gonna need to have you call back, and we're gonna have to do this again.
Wait,
too.
I know because I'm new to your guys' podcast, and I don't want to take away from his time, but
Yeah.
I'm confused on a bunch of different levels.
Let's talk about your confusion. This is great.
Of where we're suing.
Yeah.
One, I didn't know that you could sue an airline for a breach of contract, and is that new? And how broad is that? Like if I'm in first class, as if you look at me in my flannel, I am one to fly, and I want the egg, and they tell me we don't have that anymore. Here's your fruit tray, and I said I wanted egg on the app.
Yep.
Did they breach of contract? Can I get my money back because they broke the breakfast rule?
Yeah.
Is that a thing?
Yeah. So I'm gonna answer, and then First is a better lawyer. He can interrupt me at any
Okay.
point he wants. Okay.
Not to take away from this gentleman's kidnapping.
No. We're gonna
and
get
all
to the
that stuff,
kidnapping, but your eggs were served incorrectly. You said
give me
scrambled.
a fruit plate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you purchase a ticket on an airline, there's 100 like little lines of fine print where they say all this other stuff.
Right.
They have their cancellation policy in there. They have their refund policy in there. And so things like missing a flight or having to change a flight or flights being delayed, they have all the things to protect themselves in there.
Right.
However, for this breach of contract, there is not going to be a term in any of the tickets that he would have with American Airlines that says, hey, we can illegally keep you in a country based on an unlawful order, based on a kangaroo court. And so that's what his theory is going to be. His theory is going to be, hey, this wasn't any of the reasons I agreed to when I purchased the ticket. This falls outside of it. You listen to basically a terrorist government's influence. That's,
Wait.
I mean, I'm proxying what you're saying, but isn't that right, caller?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
Then why wouldn't American Airlines or any like this to them seems like a huge pain in the butt. Right, like so. Why would they not just do what he said and just showed up and went, "Hey, dude, can we just give you this and you not tweet about it, please?" And
Have they not made an offer in any form?
No, they've not made an offer in any form, and I think the reason why is because they're trying to do the whole bait and switch thing. I think they're trying to dupe me. When they gave me the documentation, I have strong confidence that they actually know it's a document created post the event, and it's just backdated. And now I've responded to them in a way that I know that I've indicated that I know that they're lying to me. And so at this point, I think they're trying to play the whole legal jurisdiction thing. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, well, you can have legal my jurisdiction. So we'll find out what's going on with that. Like I said,
do you
at
have
this
any
point, it's just all
specific
fun and games for me.
procedural questions about the small claims that you'd like us to tackle? And I think what we will do is we will schedule you for a follow-up because this is a big. We could do an hour
there's like
on
5 different things I
Yeah.
want to know about now.
It's a
Yeah.
doozy.
Yeah.
So I think the big thing is, if I like right now, I have some documentation, but during discovery, and so that's one question. What does discovery look like from my end when it comes to small claims?
Okay, well, you mentioned, so you've already had a pre-trial hearing, right?
That's correct.
Do you have a trial setting? Like, we are going to try this case on X day.
Yep, in June.
It's in June, right? Okay. So you got some time at least. Well, look, discovering small claims cases is like everything else, as you've probably seen, like kind of a free for all. There are, very limited rules in there. Now, what you're going to need to do, from the sounds of it, is issue a subpoena, either to get, document custodian from American Airlines, or you serve what's called a request for production. On American Airlines, and you set out, I want this document, that document, give me all of these communications, etc. Have you already done something like that?
Yeah. Have you asked them for documentation yet?
I actually have, and I asked that initially in the lawsuit. I included that in the small claims lawsuit. I wanted any and all communication between the Commonwealth of Dominica and American Airlines when it comes in pertaining to me.
And what did you get?
I got nothing.
Okay. I think what we're going to do is we're going to do a follow-up with you because of how long this is. We have another caller scheduled, but I'm going to have our law clerk set up a follow-up, and we're going to help you a little bit off air because this is one of the more interesting calls that we've had, and you've got so many layers going here. I want to make sure we give you the full treatment, okay?
I appreciate it.
All right, brother. Thank you so much for calling in to Hardly Legal.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Bob.
If you have a crazy legal story and you want to talk to some lawyers anonymously, for free, call us.
Wait, we're not getting paid?
Nothing at all. I don't know how we're going to pay for it, to be honest.